Oh, the Golden Land again? Or like a variation of it? Who shall make the first move? Me. How bold. Is this like the final showdown? The final boss? In the Rose Garden. What? Read properly, Owen. In the Rose Garden, beautiful rose petals danced. The color of those petals was red. Did the fact that they faced each other in this beautiful rose garden prove or make a claim to a red single truth? This music's awesome, what the heck? That must be why the roses are red. Well, roses are usually red. But in the language of flowers, roses represent passion, not truth. The flower for truth is a forget-me-not, and that flower is blue. Ah. Nice metaphor. I'll bore through everything with my blue truth. From the very beginning of everything. I'll start from the very first game. What, really? Very well. Let's see what you've got. Come. Here I go. I've already proclaimed it, but I'll say it again. This isn't just for the murder of Dr. Nanjo in the last game. This will tear apart every scene from every game since the beginning. Ushiromiya Kinzo is already dead, so the true number of people on the island is 17. By adding in an unknown person X, that makes 18 people. By supposing the existence of this person X, the crime is possible even if all 17 people have alibis. By this, even though the number of people reaches 18, it's still possible for culprit X to exist and carry out crimes, even if all 18 people seem to have alibis. You can break through all of the murders in episode 1 by supposing an unknown person X. Furthermore, it's even possible to explain the mystery of Kinzo's evaporation for the closed room sealed by the receipt, by making the bold assumption that Kinzo wasn't there in the first place. Unless Beato counters this with the red truth, the illusion of the witch from episode 1 has been completely smashed. This blue truth is valid. The wedge of blue truth that Battler had thrown stabbed right through the top of Beato's left foot. Was the red blood pouring out from there, a protest being made by her red truth? Beato shut one of her eyes tight, enduring the unbearable pain of the blue truth that denied her. Oh, that hurts her? Okay, that's how you deal damage to the final boss, I guess. Not bad. But I mustn't be denied yet. I mustn't be killed yet. This is not yet enough. In the subsequent games, there were mysteries that couldn't be explained with that alone, right? Which mysteries? In the final stages of the second game, George took Goda and Shannon with him, barricaded them in Natsuhi's room, and was killed. The key that unlocked Natsuhi's room was locked up inside the room, and all of the remaining keys that could unlock that door were in Rosa's hand. Even if a culprit X existed, it should not have been impossible to construct that closed room. The blue wedge that pierced Beato shook. She was resisting, fighting to pull it out. No, that doesn't shake my blue truth. If culprit X were to obtain a master key, that's not even close to a closed room. No, it was impossible for the culprit to obtain one. All of the master keys were under Rosa's control. But that's meaningless if Aunt Rosa was the culprit. Aunt Rosa handed a key over to culprit X by some method, assisting in the closed room murder. And after that, she retrieved the key by a similar method. Too naive, Beato. I'd already guessed that much at the time. Yes, you did, didn't you? The wedge had been gradually losing its sparkle and it seemed as though it was about to be pulled out, regained its strong blue again thanks to Battler's additional blue truth, and dug into Beato again, eating into her foot. Beato let out a cry of anguish at that pain. Show me anguish! Not yet. This is still nothing. Not yet. Not yet! On to the third game. The 6-linked closed rooms, the murders of Aunt Rosa and Maria, Dad and the rest's death in the hall, and the murders of Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsuhi. All of that can be explained if we suppose that Aunt Eva was the culprit. Not the 6-linked closed rooms, we don't. This argument was already won back then. And even that final riddle you proposed through Eva, the murder of Dr. Nanjo, can be explained with an 18th unknown person X. That breaks through the whole third game. Can you counter that? Of course. This much is nothing to worry about. In that case, how do you explain George's disappearance from the guest house? I shall add to the red truth. George did not go down the stairs of the guest house. He flew out through the window. Goodbye. In the final stages of the third game, George suddenly vanished from the second floor of the guest house. Eva, who had been on the first floor, claimed that no one had come downstairs. But because of the blue truth, George could have snuck down to the first floor and escaped while Eva was busy carrying Krause's and Nazi's corpses outside. But by adding an additional red truth, Beato had denied that possibility. To go outside without going down the staircase to the first floor, he would have had to leave by the window, but all of the windows had been locked from the inside. Then Nanjo was an accomplice and locked the window. So what? It's just like you said, he flew out the window, right? There was a lawn, so we couldn't tell if he jumped down, and it was raining so hard. Any light traces would have disappeared. I'll use the red truth again. All windows and doors leading to the outside were locked from the inside. Furthermore, it's impossible to lock any of those from the outside. George had no technique by which to lock them. I'll use more of the blue. I said it myself at the time. In that case, everything works out as long as someone locked the window after George escaped through it. Nothing difficult about that. Can I not escape after something like this? Motorcycle gun, man. Beato couldn't remove the blue wedge that was buried into her foot. The fake witch was burned more and more by that forceful blue. Jesus. This song's really good. There's still nothing that shakes my blue truth in any of the first 3 games. In that case, the only game that can prove you're a witch is this game, the 4th game. Since I haven't countered you with the red, if that is so, I shall have to prove witches using only this game. Very well. Give me everything you've got. There's nothing strange about the murder of the 6 people in the dining hall. The 18th person X went wild with a gun and killed everyone. As for the pitfalls, there's a chance that pitfalls truly were hidden there, and it's possible to explain it using Kyrie's theory, supposing that a poison dart shooting device X, which can knock a person out instantly, exists. The murders of George, Jessica, and those who escaped from the dungeon can also be explained with guns, just like the dining hall. There's nothing strange about it. But I'm sure you've got a counterattack, right? Bring it on! Your greatest sword, this 18th person X, is based on the theory that Kinzo is already dead. I knew you would make that claim. That's why I took Kinzo out of his study. All members in the family conference welcomed that Kinzo, right? All of those who met at the family conference acknowledged the presence of Kinzo. But that doesn't mean it was Kinzo, right? It's right. But grandfather was seriously ill, bedridden, on the verge of life and death, right? If he was so worn out that he looked like a different person, maybe no one would have cared, right? Now counter with this. That grandfather was a different person, a body double. A different person the relatives mistook for grandfather. And I'll counter with this. No person would mistake Ushiromiya Kinzo by sight. No matter what disguise might be used, they would not mistake Ushiromiya Kinzo by sight. Then I'll use this. In the second game, when you announced with the red truth that there were 5 master keys, even though there could have been more than 5 in the first game, you changed the premises of the later games. So it's possible that Kinzo's life or death status was changed for the 4th game alone. Therefore, Kinzo's presence in the 4th game doesn't serve as proof that he was present in the previous games. Therefore, even if we suppose that the 6 murders in the dining hall were carried out by grandfather, it contradicts nothing. And let me counter this way. Kinzo's life or death status is the same at the start of all 4 games. The setup was not different for the 4th game alone. That's tough then. Repeat it. Kinzo was alive at the start of every game. I refuse to repeat it. I won't answer, Battler. I won't give you the red truth you so desire. Damn, you're standing in my way, geezer. Are you putting yourself on the line to protect Beatrice, this most beloved witch of yours? Oh, I guess he is. Swaying, that damn geezer came into view. Heh, is she trying to be some kind of knight, blocking the path between me and Beato? Battler, are you capable of surpassing me? I won't let you reach. I will not let you reach. Not to the Golden Witch's height, you see? Your thoughtless reasoning cannot surpass even me alone. Die! What's he doing? What in the hell? What? Kinzo's jet black cape spread as though it would swallow the world. becoming the snout of a vast black dragon that came at me, trying to swallow me in one gulp. What the actual fuck? Faced with that black dragon's roar, I calmed my breathing to close my eyes lightly. I'll swallow you up in a single gulp. Disappear, inexperienced fool! Quiet, you damn undying ghost. Oh, so you call me a ghost. So you intend to see it through to the end. This theory that I am already dead. That will prove fatal to you. Be swallowed up by the first twilight of the 4th game and disappear! The black dragon's vast mouth, its snout, its fangs, swallowed Battler whole. Oh, great. And in that instant, Battler suddenly opened his eyes. Thanks, Beatrice. Your 3rd game became a foothold for my counterattack. What? See ya, damn geezer. This is goodbye. As a basis for claiming that Kinzo was dead, even in the 4th game, I proposed the following theory. Very well. Come at me with all you have, my descendant. Here I go, you damn geezer. My theory is that the name of Kinzo gets passed on as the title of the Ushiromiya family had. Oh. Ushiromiya Kinzo was already dead, and he passed that name onto someone else. Everyone acknowledged that. That way, all of those who met at the family conference acknowledged the presence of Kinzo. There wasn't even any need for someone to disguise themselves as grandfather, because everyone acknowledged they knew Kinzo. So, they didn't actually mistake Kinzo by sight. As long as this theory is not denied, nothing can change the fact that you're dead. This is the final blow. Damn geezer, I demand that you repeat it. Among all of the people there, not one had multiple different names. I cannot. Rest in peace, damn geezer. Thank me, you were finally able to die. This is your requiem. Take it and drop dead. Ushiromiya Kinzo was already dead. That's right, you definitely deserve to be pitied, since whenever we find your corpse, it's always completely burnt. That was a device to hide the fact that time had passed since your death. Then you pass that name on to someone else. With this theory, even though you were dead, Kinzo was able to appear at the family conference. How's that? This is checkmate! Oh god. Several dozen blue stakes bored into Kinzo's ghost. Their terrible destructive power wouldn't let the ghost recover again. Beatrice. Damn. Kinzo, thank you for everything. Rest in peace. I will not forget my time spent with you. That dragon shit was what the hell? Dispersing along with the shadow of the black dragon as golden flower petals scattered, Ushiromiya Kinzo became a gold-colored cyclone and disappeared. Even after death, he had fought for the sake of the woman he'd loved. There's no doubting that your love and madness were the real thing. Battler? Don't hate me. Let the dead sleep. Don't wake them. You're up next. This is the end for you, too. Beato still couldn't pull out the blue wedge that pierced her foot. She realized that she was on the verge of death. I've gone along with you a whole bunch. I think I've more than fulfilled any responsibility I had to play with you. But it's about time to finish things up. I've got a lonely little sister waiting at home. Let me take my leave with my whole family. Then kill me. In that case, try and kill me. I won't run or hide, and by now I won't even be able to avoid it. Come on, Ushiromiya Battler! You've got it. With the 18th person X from the Kinzo was dead theory, everything that remained has been pierced through. George and Jessica's death in the fourth game can also be explained by culprit X, and the 5 who escaped from the dungeon and were killed, and the 2 in the gardening shed, and Maria in the end. All of those can be explained with 18th person X. There's nothing strange there at all. With this, I fully explained the culprit using humans for all games. Beatrice, this is checkmate! Holy shit. Beatrice, who couldn't dodge, had several blue stakes driven into her and was skewered. Beato grabbed at them, trying to pull them out somehow.
That got me. It hurts. This'll kill me, won't it? If I don't pull these out, I'll die. I've had enough of the pain. I've had enough of the anguish.
Show me anguish. With both hands, Beato firmly grasped one of the blue stakes. Naturally, the power of the witch-denying blue truth burned her hands. Unable even to hide her tears at the pain, Beato howled and tried to pull the stakes out with all her might.
If I can't pull these out, I'll die. This is my final counterattack.
Oh, what's she gonna say?
Then, Battler, how do you explain my several acts of magic? The very first time those appeared was in the second game, when I fixed Maria's pumpkin marshmallow. At that time, Rosa definitely witnessed that magic.
Certainly at that time, Rosa witnessed gold butterflies gathering and the fixing of a marshmallow by the miracle of magic. That's super easily explained if Rosa did it.
Rosa alone witnessing it isn't very credible, right? That's why I increased the number of witnesses to the uppermost limit later on. Which is what happened in this last game. The summoning of my minions, and brutal murders due to magic. All of those were witnessed by a great many people. That is itself proof that my magic exists. How do you explain that, Ushiromiya Battler?
Stalemate.
What?
Magic exists because magic exists. Didn't the rules of our Brawn Tube trial say that you couldn't use that kind of argument?
Yes, you're right.
No matter who or how many people witnessed magic, that cannot become proof of magic's existence. Whether all the magic you've shown exists or not, I can ignore it all and explain things with humans. That is my undeniable right. Am I wrong? At those words, the blue stakes let out an even brighter light, knocking my hands away. Seems I can't pull them out after all. As Battler is now, even if I pull up a witness for each individual bit of magic and demand an explanation, he'll probably use some kind of move to deny all of them. Not just the magic with the marshmallow I showed Rosa, but all the miracles of magic. So I can no longer even claim to be a witch without questioning him about something like how a marshmallow was fixed. I'm in such an inferior position that I must fight over such trivialities. It may be impossible for me. I know that. This was to be a game without victory from the very beginning, so it's only natural that the day of my defeat would eventually come. Have I fought, up until today, just to lose to Battler? I began the game, thinking I might be able to win. Even if I wouldn't be able to win easily, I believe that in a game repeating endlessly, a miracle would eventually occur. After all, I had certain willpower on my side, an unwavering desire to win with certainty. However, I've now lost that miracle completely, and that certain willpower resides in Battler, leaving me certainly without even a 1 in a million chance at a miracle. Or perhaps I should say I've been left without a miracle or certainty. I will have no victory, and no end through a tie. The only resolution allowed me is to continue on resisting, until defeat is given to me in this game. That's right, I am fighting only to be killed by Battler. I looked into Battler's eyes. That which was reflected inside them wasn't me. The figures of the little sister waiting for his return, and the family he had to bring back were reflected in those eyes. To him, my existence is already not even that of an individual, obviously. From the very beginning, he has been trying to deny the individual that I am. Yes, that last game sure was fun. I was only tricking him a bit, but for just a short period of time, it felt like we understood each other, and that was fun. That's right, Virgilia, close your eyes. I should have made my move then. I should have continued for eternity with Battler still totally fooled. But that's just no good, right? That just wouldn't be true victory. Is this checkmate, Beatrice? Beato had been run through with several blue stakes, skewered over and over to the ground while still standing. Because of that, she wasn't even able to fall over, and still looking up into the sky was sewn in place. That tragic form, might have been a fitting end for the cruel witch who had endlessly toyed with 18 people's lives, and who had killed constantly for hundreds and thousands of years. Gently, as though someone was mourning over something, rain began to fall. Amid that rain, Beato was soaked and crucified. Is it over, Beato? Big doubt.
Can't let out a squeak.
Not yet. You aren't a woman who will let things end with just this.
Don't be ridiculous. How can you look at this and think that it isn't over? Quickly, deliver the final blow.
Motorcycle gunman.
Just say it, with your blue truth. According to this, witches do not exist. Say it. Just say it. With that single blow, just put a stop to my breathing.
It's useless.
Huh. So you would expose me to even further shame? Isn't it settled already?
Stand up. Our brawl still isn't over.
Not over, you say?
That just now wasn't you losing. You just stopped and gave up.
Isn't that enough? Wouldn't giving up mean your victory?
The dog?
You should return to your little sister. Right away. Just throw me away. Right here.
Didn't I tell you? I won't run away. And I won't let you run away. Just who are you? And what in the world is it that you want? If you want to know, why don't you just try your favorite move?
Isn't it better this way? With me as a mere delusion? An illusion? Isn't that enough?
It's all useless. I won't let you run away. I'll break through you. How could I let you run away like this? I won't let you run back to the darkness of illusions while you're still all hazy like this. I'll break through you completely, so stand up. Don't act all frail like that. You're still hiding several moves, I can tell.
Why won't you just let me escape?
Dad, Mom, and Angie. All the cousins and all the relatives. And all the servants. You toyed with them so much and killed them. I definitely won't forget. Won't forgive that inhumanity. I can still feel Angie's arms on my shoulders. I won't forgive your inhumanity. So I won't let you get away like this. Battler's eyes burned with the flames of hatred. The time had long since passed during which pitiful behavior would have earned his compassion. After being tricked once, Battler will never sympathize with me again. Instead of the wolves and sheep puzzle, this is like the boy who cried wolf, isn't it? What am I supposed to do? What should I do? Is fighting endlessly only to avoid admitting defeat a fitting endless torture for the endless witch? Is endlessly harassing Battler to avoid giving him victory also part of being the endless witch? It's so sad. Is this what the endless magic is? I've had enough. I've had enough of endlessly being toyed with by witches. I will have no victory and no tie. In that case, there's only one result that can release me. Since the time I succumbed to the path of witches, since the day I made that contract with demons, it was promised that I would meet my end through tragedy, was it not? What's wrong, Golden Witch Beatrice? If you are the ruler of Rokonjima, show me a majesty fitting for that, even at the very end! That is some loud thunder. Lightning. The world was smashed with what? Lightning! Fuck off, Larkscene. Fitting last moments for the ruler of Rokonjima. Yep, of course she's not done. Still pierced by the blue stakes, Beato faced the rainy sky and let out a cry of laughter. Then she slowly raised her face and stared at Battler. Fool! Just when I was about to praise your good fight and hand over victory. You shall regret that pride. This isn't something for you to hand over. I'm gonna take it from you. The same goes for you, right? You can never accept an easygoing victory where I just say, maybe witches existing isn't so bad. Isn't that the very reason you intentionally fell apart like that at the end last time? That's right, last game you took pity on me just once, didn't you? So now I'll pay back that debt. Stand! My enemy! My Golden Witch Beatrice! Fool. You fool! You simpleton! You think you'll get another chance? Ah! A real showdown, come on! That was just literally so one-sided. There's gotta be something. Battler can't be completely right. When Beato yelled, the blue stakes that had pierced her chest blew to bits and disappeared. However, the blue wedge that had pierced her foot in the very beginning did not vanish. You can't pull it out yet. You can't pull out the blue truth of the 18th person X. I'm sure she can. I will respond to one thing you told me to repeat. As you reasoned, Kinzo is already dead at the starting time for all games. Yep, go figure. However, this means that you can take one person out. Before now, I have proclaimed that no more than 18 humans exist on this island. I will lower that by 1 for Kinzo. No more than 17 humans exist on this island. Well, there it goes. That excludes any 18th person. In short, this 18th person X does not exist. This applies to all games. There it goes. Thank you, Beatrice, for actually participating in gym class. How many times do I have to tell you? This is gym class. What do you know? Looks like you're still hiding some pretty crazy stuff off your sleeve after all. The island, which had no more than 17 humans on it, has been set up to appear as though there were 18. Taking one off makes it 17. So we finally reached the correct number. This way, the wedge I knocked into you has been removed. We'll have to start the fight over, back from square one. The blue wedge that had sewn Beato in place broke apart. There was no longer anything piercing her. Doesn't that make Nanjo in the third game a bit more difficult then? I mean, my George theory still stands, but whatever. The scars on her body had disappeared completely. There stood, just as Battler had hoped for, the figure of the majestic Golden Witch who ruled Rokanjima. Then come, Battler. Once more from the beginning. Alright, time for phase 2. Try and break through everything with the blue truth. I too will no longer play, run, or hide. If you are worthless, then I shall end this match right here, right now. With my grand victory, I'll make you regret your refusal to compromise for all eternity. Come, starting from the first game. Right, from the first twilight of the first game. There's nothing strange about the murder of the 6 relatives that were found in the gardening shed at the start. The crime was possible for any of those who didn't have an alibi. Valid. Continue. What about the next closed room murder with Eva and Hideyoshi? Even the chain was set for that closed room. I shall add to the red truth. Both deaths were homicides. It is not the case that after the construction of the closed room, one of them committed suicide after committing murder. Furthermore, the murder was carried out with both the victim and the perpetrator in the same room. No method exists for the perpetrator to commit murder from outside the room. Suppose that the culprit was a human without an alibi. In other words, the dead. We weren't able to identify some of the first 6 corpses because of their smashed faces. Maybe one was actually a disguised corpse, and Culprit X killed those 2 after making us think that they were a victim and hiding away. Then, after the closed room murder was constructed, the culprit hid under the bed and waited for us all to come and leave. Under the bed! I didn't think about that. Very well. Next, Cannon was killed in the boiler room, correct? I shall add to the red truth. All of the survivors have alibis. Let us include the dead as well. In short, no kind of human or dead person on the island could have killed Cannon. If no one could kill him, then he might have been the one to kill. Cannon might have killed himself. Repeat it. Cannon did not commit suicide. Cannon did not commit suicide. Then that's a problem. One more. Repeat it. Cannon's death was a homicide. I refuse to repeat it. By that refusal, it may be possible to view it as a homicide, but you've already proclaimed in red that no one could have killed him. In other words, it wasn't a homicide. This is the same as the linked closed rooms from the third game. Cannon died for a reason that was neither suicide nor homicide. The details are unknown, but he died due to an accident. Because of the devil's proof, I refuse to explain what kind of blunder could have led to an accidental death where a stake was driven into his chest. Ho-ho. Now that you have borrowed the power of demons, you are without peer. It is valid. In that case, what about the murders after that in the parlor of Genji, Nanjo, and Kumasawa? Naturally, Maria, who was in the same room, did not kill them. And of course, their 3 deaths were homicides. The dead yet again. We can explain those murders with culprit X, who hid away using an unidentified corpse. After all, those 3 had their faces smashed. It's completely possible that one of them was a body double corpse. I guarantee the identities of all unidentified corpses. Therefore, there were no body double tricks. Then you can explain it with simultaneous murders. Each of them had a gun pointed at clockwise and blew each other's faces off at the same time. After that, Maria collected all those guns and hid them. How about that? That doesn't explain the stakes. What? What a ridiculous argument. How amusing. Then what about Natsuhi in the end? I shall add to the red truth. Natsuhi's death was a homicide. There were no unidentified corpses and all of the survivors have alibis. You can explain it with an indirect murder due to Trap X. Something was done to Aunt Natsuhi's gun. It could have been a trap gun, built to send a bullet right into the forehead of anyone who tried to hold it up and shoot it. The bullet buried into Natsuhi's forehead was not fired from her gun. It's possible that Aunt Natsuhi was lured out by that letter, whose contents were unknown. She was called out into the hall. Then she was forced to stand at a specified location at a specified time and murdered by Trap X, which used a gun that had been installed there beforehand. Wonderful! These reckless arguments of yours are even starting to feel pleasurable now. Out of respect, I shall hand the first game over to you. Well done! Okay. That's a big doubt, though. I doubt all of that was correct. Gah! Oh yeah, by the way, Motorcycle Gunman's there. The instant Beato acknowledged her defeat in the first game, the stakes of the blue truth once again pierced her chest, letting out a terrible sound. This is still hardly painful, and it's not over yet. Come, now for the second game. Beato just barely pulled out the stakes that had pierced her chest. But even though there was no hole left behind, she still seemed to be bearing a deep wound that was letting out a massive amount of blood, and she was tormented by an equally fierce pain. But Beato grinned, grinding her teeth, and pushed for the next game to start. But I won't feel sympathy for her. Just by her existing there, we've been killed and harassed over and over, and Angie's been burdened with the future of isolation. Correct. Just by my being here and laughing, this eternal hell will continue. I won't give your little sister back. Let her cry over the family that shall not return for the next 1,000 years. Damn it! No compassion, no mercy. On to the second game. I'll start with the first crime. Right after it happened, I penetrated to the truth of the closed room murder where the 6 were killed in the chapel. Someone secretly borrowed Maria's key, and secretly returned it to Maria's bag after the crime was over. From the time Maria received her key to the instant Rosa unsealed the envelope the next day, the key passed through no one's hands. That door might have had an auto-lock, just like Gramps' study. In other words, it was unlocked before the crime, with a rock or something wedged in it so that it couldn't close completely. Then someone gave the key to Maria. The lock was automatic, so it's possible to make a theory where the key wasn't needed. There were no doors with auto-locks other than Kinzo's study. The victims locked the door from the inside. One of the 6 was the culprit, and this person killed the other 5, then pretended to be dead. The 6 were already dead by the time they were discovered. All of their deaths were homicides. All 6 were genuine victims and did not take part in a mutual murder. There was no simultaneous murder. There were 6 people. No wait, there were people, Kumasawa in particular, who had no alibi at the time. If we assume that someone was hiding on the inside, then we've got no problems. There was no one hiding in the chapel. Therefore, the shut-in murder you suggest does not work. This is hard then. What's wrong? Is that all, Ushiromiya Battler? It's not so easy once you get to the second game. Right? That one was the hardest one anyways, wasn't it? It was a thundering exchange of red and blue truth. Oh, this shit again. The stakes and wedges of blue truth that I sent flying attacked one after the other, and Beato cut them down one after another with her red truth, her red treasured sword, knocking them down. But the blood she lost from the first game was probably serious. This intense exercise was putting an even greater strain on her. I could also see her breath grow ragged. That's why I can't hold back now. I'll corner that witch. This time I'll break through her. Not yet. It's useless. It's all useless! My twisted logic isn't finished yet. Then what about this? The food they were given all had small bombs in it, which exploded from inside their stomachs. In other words, the crime was possible through Trap X. The exact nature of bombs they could swallow without noticing, and which could also blow open their stomachs, is a devil's proof. I refuse to explain. What the hell's that? Small bombs? But Beato failed to knock down the blue wedge as it flew at an angle like a breaking pitch. It let out a loud thunk and gouged itself deep into her left shoulder. However, even as the breaking pitch hit her, her laughter didn't seem to be stopping. Yeah, I get it. Even I think that theory's pretty screwed up. Laugh as much as you want. Got a problem with that? None. Quite a pleasurable, reckless argument. Really? They use bombs? Next up is the closed room with Jessica and Cannon. That wouldn't just explode their fucking stomachs. Whatever. That doesn't make sense. No problems there. If the culprit was one of the servants, they could have used a master key. It's not even a closed room. After that, there was an attack in the servant room from a mystery person who seemed to be Cannon, and Nacho and Kumasawa were killed, right? Really? It's just a servant with a master key for the whatever. I'd already proclaimed Cannon's death in red before that time, so who was that Cannon? If Cannon's death was proclaimed with the red, there's no way he was alive. Therefore, there's a chance that the one who attacked that group was in a disguise that made everyone mistakenly think it was Cannon. They would never mistakenly think any other person was Cannon. Then, just like the heredity of Kinzo's name, there's a possibility that Cannon's name was inherited by someone. Big doubt. You could suppose that Cannon was killed, a different person succeeded that name, and that this person attacked them. Are you kidding me? What? That can't be it. It sounded like a watermelon being squashed rang out, and a blue wedge was buried deep into Beato's left flank. Maybe it hit in a bad place since it seemed to be really effective. After leaning over and moaning for a while, she laughed it off as though trying to make it seem like no big deal. Yeah, I get it. That must have hurt a lot. I fell over. Okay, I'm back. Yeah! Once again, you set up some human as the culprit as if it were nothing. You truly are gabbing on about things you'd never be able to open your mouth and say on the game board. And yet it's valid. That reckless argument is pleasurable. Truly pleasurable. This isn't pain, it's pleasure. When Beato howled, the wedge that had pierced her was blasted away. But the wound remained, as she continued to be tormented by a fierce pain. You ready? I'll keep going. My blue truth for the last murder in the second game, the 3 who died in Aunt Natsuhi's room, should still be valid even with the 18th person X denied. Do you have a counter argument for that in red? If you don't, the second game is all mine too. No, I don't. Fighting over such trivial matters bores me. I'll give it to you. I'll give you the second game. Nanjo in the third game really is the only problem for Battler then, right? The instant she acknowledged her loss in the second game, 2 blue stakes gouged through Beato's chest this time. The witch's lungs were gouged, as were her intestines. Her face twisted in anguish. Show me anguish! Her body twisted as she gasped in pain. Show me pain! Wait, that's not a thing I say! Does it hurt? I keep falling over. Hurt? No, this just tickles. At least compared to having your entire body torn to bits and turned into a pile of scrap meat, like your sister. I'll make you scrap meat too. Then you siblings can all be mixed together like ground beef and pork. I'll beat you to death. I'll tear you to bits the same way. Next, the third game. How long are you gonna sit around all worn out like that? I've only just started knocking you down to hell. Naturally, as if something like this could wear me down. You're right.
Wait, who's speaking? You're right, we're still just getting started. Come, let us begin the third game, starting with the 6-link closed rooms. You supposedly did penetrate this closed room at the time, but then you killed off Kinzo. At the time, I theorized that Gramps was the culprit, and that after killing the other 5 and stringing the keys across each room, he constructed his own closed room in the boiler room. And that there, he died in an accident while carrying out some kind of scheme, burning to death in the boiler. But now I've declared that Gramps was already dead, so I've denied my own theory myself, ironically enough. However, there's no problem. Plenty of people besides Gramps could have committed the crime. You could even claim that all the adults holding the family conference were in on it. Big doubt. All 5 master keys were discovered, each in the pocket of one of the servants. The individual room keys were found inside envelopes alongside the corpses. In short, all keys related to the linked closed rooms were locked inside the linked closed rooms. No key could have been returned from outside the room using the crack of the door, the crack of the window, vent, or any place of the sort. Then they were killed with poison gas. Even if a key couldn't pass through, gas could, right? The murder was carried out from outside the closed room. All of them had what appeared to be gunshot wounds that were fatal. Murdering them from outside the room would have been impossible. I shall say more with the red. When the 5 other than Kinzo were killed, the killer was definitely in the same room as them. I already proclaimed in red at the time that there were no suicides. After the murder of each person in their respective rooms, the culprit created a linked closed room. But the culprit had no way to return just the key to the very last room, and yet they were able to do it. After all, the first person to discover a corpse just had to pretend to find the key and pull it from the pocket of one of the corpses. That's what I fucking said! But didn't she just say that they were all discovered? Okay, I guess that works. I thought she said they were all discovered in the pockets, so I guess that doesn't work then. I guess the red can be worked around in strange ways. Maybe she meant something else. She couldn't fully block the retort of that blue stake. Bayonetta was pushed back by the blue wedges that were unleashed on her one after another. Finally failed to block one, and once again took a severe wound. That was less of a howl, but whatever. As she howled in pain, she pulled out the blue wedge that had pierced her right arm. Bayonetta's entire body had been torn apart and pierced with blue wedges, stakes, and blades over and over again, and now she was totally covered in blood. But just imagine it, so yeah, she's not covered in blood here, but she actually is. But even so, Bayonetta grinned, cackling as though this was amusing. How could a man who promised to bring Angie's parents home voice a theory where those parents are culprits? Splendid, even that's just fine, right? Go be a big happy family getting their hands dirty with mass murder. Then return to Angie stained with blood that will never come off. It's like Lady Macbeth. How could we expect anything less from the people who returned alive from the Witch's Island? Just what's that mincemeat Angie needs? Shut up! I'll kill you! I'll tear you apart! No need to waste your time begging for your life. I'll definitely give you the worst kind of death by my own hands. Yes, you probably could do it. I've explored the depths of cruelty for over 1,000 years, and you probably will gift me with a fitting end for all that. Whew, does that hurt? Is it harsh, or does it tickle? Is that supposed to torment me? Come on, Ushiromiya Battler. There are still mysteries left. This is a very long tea party. Bayonetta had already countered my first powerful move, the 18th person X, by making the number of people on the island 17. But just limiting the number of people to 17 didn't overturn the theory that Aniva was the culprit. I can crush most of the murders in the third game this way. Yeah, go figure, motorcycle gun man. Blood dripped from all over the body of the Golden Witch. I cornered her, this time thoroughly without mercy. This isn't a game played to decide who wins and who loses. Yeah, we aren't playing. Even the time I spend playing and fighting like this delays my trip home. In her isolation, Angie will continue to have her heart torn apart by loneliness and sadness. I have to go back to Angie as fast as I can. You're all worn out. Standing at death's door, are you? I keep falling over. This really sucks. It still doesn't burden me. Something like this. It tickles.
Looks like you don't need any mercy.
I never asked for it in the first place.
I'm going all out.
Do so. When our roles were reversed, I showed no mercy, so you ought to do the same when given the chance. Otherwise, I'll summon another isolated Angie from a different world.
Oh, did not mean to do that.
And this time I'll tear off her arms and legs, stick her with a spear and roast her, okay?
Shut up! Never again. Not my family. Not my relatives. Not any of the servants. I won't let you make them your playthings. I've already broken through all of the mysteries in the 4th game with the blue truth. The only one left is the very last one from the 3rd game. Only the murder of Dr. Nanjo.
Right. Oh, I've already been cornered so far. What a precarious state I'm in.
She coughed violently, spitting up blood. Her insides had been punched through so many times, Motorcycle Gunman. It was only natural. In other words, the mystery of Dr. Nanjo's murder is the last line of defense for you being a witch, right?
As you say, if you defeat that, it will mean that all of my mysteries have been defeated. Unless I counter one of your truths with some new red truth, or present a new mystery, I will die.
You don't look like someone who's been pushed into a corner standing on the brink. You still have some kind of hidden pitch up your sleeve, right?
Well, who knows? I've already tired of a too long life after 1,000 years. I've started to think that having this life ended by a rival like you, whom I stumbled upon at the very end, might not be so bad. You can do it, can't you? Do it. I beg you. Kill me. I'm always the one killing, and I've never had the experience of being killed. I've killed the 18 of you hundreds of times, but I haven't been killed myself, even once. So I want to experience it just once myself.
It was a graceless show of boldness, unchanged from before. But blood dripped from her mouth. Her once beautiful dress was covered with holes, and blood poured from all over her body, making her physical appearance stand in sharp contrast to her attitude. Maybe the shot she'd taken to the flank was still tormenting her, since she was still pressing down on it unconsciously without a trace of grace. But I've got no time for pity. As long as I feel sympathy for this witch, my family and I won't be released from this place. Until I defeat her, we won't be able to go home. In the outside world, it may be possible for even enemies to understand each other when circumstances change. But pure evil does exist. Evil that brings misfortune just by existing, and is to be spared no compromise. Just by its continued existence alone, it's evil. I don't pity you. Just like how you didn't show pity for any of us.
Well, of course. All of you are just pieces in the game. It's just unbelievably fun to think about which 6 to kill in the beginning, how to kill the next 2, and whether I can find a much more grotesque method of murder, you see? Hey Battler, I've reformed a little, so forgive me this time too. If you do, I'll change my methods of killing into something a little better, okay? I'll listen to how you want them to be killed and in what order, got it? It's so fun, toying with people's lives. I'm sure you could think of a way to turn Angie into a pile of scrap meat much more thoroughly. Come, Battler, try to expose the truth of Nanjo's murder.
The 18th person X has been defeated, but I won't give in. I'll stop that witch's breathing cold. The end of the 3rd game. It was announced in red that the survivors at that point in time, Battler, Eva, Jessica, and Nanjo, were all uninvolved with Nanjo's murder. And it was also proclaimed that he was murdered directly by someone before his eyes. All other people had the strongest possible alibi by having their deaths proclaimed in red. I'll break through this without using the 18th person X. Think. Don't stop thinking. Her red doesn't only bind me, it's also supposed to be her weak point. I've got to somehow use it against her. How can you use that fucking big web against her, aside from saying one of the deaths didn't happen yet? That's right, there's still a gap. Yeah, this way I can break through it. This way Beatrice's Legend of the Witch is finished. True, the others probably were dead. However, their deaths were not proclaimed in red at the instant Dr. Nanjo died. Yep, here it comes. Strictly speaking, it was in the fight between me and Eva after Dr. Nanjo's corpse was found. In other words, if someone was alive at the time Dr. Nanjo was killed and then died before Eva made that proclamation, you can sew right through that crack. In other words, it's like this. Someone who was first confirmed dead by Eva's proclamation was a culprit. They cleverly played dead earlier and waited for us to come and go. Before their death was announced and read, we were made to think that they died. Then they killed Dr. Nanjo and later died for some reason. After that, Eva proclaimed their death in red. That theory can explain Dr. Nanjo's case. How's that, Beatrice? Yeah. When he forcefully asked that question, there was a terrible sound that could only be likened to that of a compressor. And a blue stake that was as thick as a log appeared from under the earth and skewered the Golden Witch Beatrice, pulling her up into the air. Ugly tearing sounds rang out, and each time a blue stake or wedge would appear and pierce Beato's body. When that finally ended, her tragic form was exposed there, pincushioned by more than 10 stakes and wedges all over her body, and dripping with blood, dangling and crucified. Oh, God. Hi. There was none of the dignity of the brutal witch who had sneered at the honor of the dead and toyed with and killed hundreds of the living. The rain, which had started falling at some point, quietly tormented the crucified witch. As Battler heaved with his breathing, he waited for some kind of answer from the Golden Witch. Although it wasn't long, it took the witch a bit of time to show any signs of life. It hurts. It hurts. You got what you deserved. Now you can experience a portion of the pain felt by all those you've killed. This is some Kagero Days type shit. What you see is what you're gonna get, bitch. Even as he said that, it seemed Battler had lost a little of his momentum at this extremely pathetic sight. Even if it was an enemy, he couldn't look straight at a woman exposed in such a brutal fashion. But even so, unless he destroyed Beatrice, this battle wouldn't end. Battle, Battler! Battler, I beg you. Huh? Beato let out a sob. It hurts. It really hurts. End it. End it! Even with this, I still can't die. Even though it hurts so much, I still can't die. What are you asking of me? End it. Release me from this pain. Beato's expression was soaked with blood and tears. Don't feel remorse, motorcycle gunman. Battler certainly had been tricked by her at one point, so he was probably able to suspect that her expression, that even her tears were an act. However, Battler believed in those tears. After all, those tears had the red of truth mixed in with them. What should I do? What can I do to end your pain? I will now expose everything. This is my heart. Your heart. Me. Beato. Kill me. Just let me die. Were those tears from pain and torment? Or else, either way, that pathetic expression was painful for Battler to look at, even after burning with such anger. Quickly, go back to Angie. I'll listen to your request, not so that I can go back, but to end your pain. Then, how? Battler... In her last breaths, Beato summoned up all of her remaining strength, and managed to close both of her hands into fists. A red light began to gather at those fists. Then she lifted her arms, as though appealing to the heavens for something. You'll be able to kill me. All of me. My heart. Crush it. Pierce it. Okay? The red light around both her arms gradually began to strengthen. This is kinda sad. I don't remember this from the anime. After saying that much, her face tilted to the side a bit. Then her right arm lost its light and flopped down. But her left arm alone did not lose its light and remained held out towards the heavens. What in the heck? Then before Battler's eyes, another Beato appeared with a faint form, transparent like a curtain. The crucified Beato had already lost consciousness. However, the newly appeared faint Beato quietly looked at me, her eyes expressionless, and spoke.
Ushiromiya Battler, I will now kill you.
And
right now, there's no one other than you on this island. The only one alive on this island is you. Nothing outside the island can interfere.
I understand. This is the last mystery Beatrice will be able to make as a witch. She's trying to offer it to me, entreating me to solve this final mystery and kill her. I see. Do it. I'll accept your final mystery.
You are all alone on this island, and of course I am not you. Yet I am here, now, and am about to kill you.
Like a souped-up version of Dr. Nanjo's murder. So?
Who am I?
Is that your final question?
Who am I?
Oh, what? Then Beatrice slowly approached me, and still expressionless, held me. Yeah, I get it, Beato. I'll kill you. Don't worry. I also slowly held her head. Then I, as a piece, left the game board. Beatrice is the antagonist. Why is that so fucking sweet? No, no, you can't just do that to me. You can't just make... No. Oh, fuck you. I'm literally tingling. What the fuck was that? Battler died on the 10th Twilight. Okay. Solve the last mystery. Bomb. The bomb. Angie died in 1998. Maria died on the 10th Twilight. Jesus Christ. Sakutaro is Sakutaro. Are you gonna do what you did at the end of the 3rd game and show me everyone? Kinzo died on the 9th Twilight. Big bullshit. Kraus died. He was 7th. Natsuhi, 1st, yeah. Jessica, 2nd, yeah. Eva was 1st, yes. That was fucking crazy, what the hell? That's probably gonna be split into 2 episodes, so I can't just say goodbye to the 69th episode now. George was on the 2nd Twilight, big doubt, he was the culprit. Rudolph was on the 1st one. Hold on, George can't be the culprit for the 1st game, at least not by himself. Kyrie died on the 8th. Rosa died on the 1st. Because George couldn't have possibly killed the 3 in the parlor. Nacho died on the 6th. Genji died on the 1st, right? Shannon was on the 5th, right? And Cannon was probably 4th then. Even though they all got stakes pierced in them. Oh yeah, Goda. I forgot about Goda. Died on the 9th. Literally everyone died. Like, a lot of people died on the 9th this time. Well, literally everybody died. Everyone dies in all of them, except the 3rd with Eva. Kumasawa died on the 9th. Eva Beatrice showed up for, like, 30 seconds. Virgilia, Ronave, let me guess, Gap. Yeah. Gap's such a weird character. Lucifer, and you're gonna go through all the stakes. Lucifer, Leviathan, Satan... Belfajor. Yep, that's Belfajor. We still have the secret tea party, right? Mammon. Beelzebub. Asmodeus. Or is that how you pronounce it? Asmodeus or is it Asmodeus? I don't know. Chester 00. Chester 45. Chester 410. Are they going to show the 4th one? No. All the goats. I still love how that's their character name. All the goats. Oh, come on, you're... Even the people in the future. Okanogi Tetsuro, Amakusa Juuza, Sumadera Kasumi, who fucking got destroyed at the very end, Professor Utsuki, who showed up for like 30 seconds, Nanjo Masayuki, who showed up for like 30 seconds, Kumasawa Sabakichi, who showed up for like 30 seconds, Captain Kawabata, he showed up for 31 seconds at least. That should be everyone, right? Oh, fuck, I forgot about you. LAMBDADELTA, and then BERNKASTEL. Yeah. Now that should be everyone. Right? There's so many characters in this game, seriously. 4th game, Alliance of the Golden Witch. Voices were difficult for this game, but I had fun with it at least. Assuming we're done now, which, doubt. And there's the logo. It's a very nice logo compared with this PS3 patch compared to the original, at least. Well, damn. Oh, it's fading black. Is there still a secret tea party? The question mark one? Yep, new elements added. Achievement unlocked, the end. Very nice. Okay, so we still have the secret tea party. This is definitely going to be split into multiple episodes, but holy shit, we're still not done. And they're probably going to give us the episode 4 tips too after this. So what even can go further from this? Who's going to be here? Because that was a really good conclusion. What more is there? Words. Unknown. Fragment number. Oh my fucking god. 56109. I can't read that. It's probably not important anyways. Well, it might be. Who knows? Scattered on a large bed were cute jelly beans of various colors. Oh, we're here. Chocolate shaped like ohajiki pieces. A fork was stuck into a shortcake, peeking out of a gift box. And there were decanters with drinks of various colors lined up on a side table. But the color of the partially finished drink that had been poured into a cup was venomous, matching none of the decanters. So that's absinthe again, isn't it? Someone had probably been playing around, mixing various things together. Oh, then it's not absinthe? That can be lots of fun if you don't mind the taste. On top of the fluffy bed were several colorful big pillows like something from a dream. Oh, come on! And on this bed that looked like something out of a child's dream world, BERNKASTEL lay face down, and LAMBDADELTA lay face up, clutching a pillow and relaxing. It was pretty thrilling this time, wasn't it? I got really panicky when Beato said she'd stop the game. What a rude witch. To start a game like this and try to end it by throwing it away. Wasn't Angie a good piece? After Beato ran for it, Angie dragged her back and made her resume the game. Although it's a shame that she gave Battler a little too much enthusiasm. After all, I knew Battler was a softie. No kidding. He looked like he might even go easy on Beato, his enemy. I was uneasy that, like the last game, he might actually feel compassion for Beato and take the game in a weird direction. Angie was a trump card to get Battler back on track when he mistook his goal. Although I wanted her to support him a bit more before using her up. She really did get used right off the bat. What a waste for a piece that required so much preparation. Good thing I shackled her with that rule about not giving her name. If that hadn't been set up, the brother-sister tag team would have swallowed Beato up and won in the blink of an eye. I thought it'd be a chance for them to press her all at once, but your mark was so restrictive that I couldn't make the best use of her. Ah, what a waste that piece was. Isn't it obvious that such an unfair piece would have to be retired right away? Well, in the end, she did a good job of preventing the suspension of the game, and that helps me out too. The way she made both our interests match is what made her a truly wonderful piece. She was an innocent kid like Battler, so it was easy to get her to do as I said. Morons and impulsive types make the best pieces. I really can't stand losing that piece. By now, that kid's minced meat. Hey, let's make hamburgers out of her later on. Oh wait, didn't you like gyoza more? Isn't gyoza that, like, Mexican spice? I wonder what Little Sister tastes like. Hilarious. That's a weird question. Is it really okay for you to be so relaxed? Thanks to Angie, Battler has gotten all fired up. I'm pretty sure he started a hot pursuit of Beato, making this game take a big turn in my favor, right? I mean, didn't Battler just solve almost all the mysteries up until now? Huh? Not even close. Almost all Battler's blue truth was wrong. Yeah, see, I figured. Beato's lukewarm red is full of holes. If she had any brains in her, she'd slip through it easily by setting up a suitable web of twisted logic. Yeah, it really ticks me off. If it were me, I'd thoroughly cut down all of it with the red.
Oh, really? And I was sure that those were all correct. Well, I don't know about that small bomb part, though.
Yeah, that was the fucking weirdest part. I feel like Beatrice really gave up on that one. And this song again. Not all of Battler's blue truths were valid. When talking about the first game, Bayato cruelly declared that she guaranteed the identities of all unidentified corpses. This defeats Battler's theory about the culprit of the evil/Hideyoshi closed room murder being someone who faked up a corpse. Next, Cannon might have died in an accident in the boiler room, but what kind of accident could drive a stake into his chest? Are you a moron? I'll slice it with that red treasured sword thing. Cannon did not die in an accident. For the next one, the murders of the three, including Genji in the parlor, the thought that it was a simultaneous murder where they shot each other in a clockwise pattern at the same time is laughable. Genji, Kumasawa, and Nanjo are not killers. The final trap X to kill Natsuhi was also ridiculous. The thing that shot Natsuhi wasn't a trap. It was a real shooting murder with a gun raised and trigger pulled. Sucks for you.
You shouldn't do that, saying something like that in red. Like it's trying to say that she bounced Natsuhi's bullet back with magic and killed her.
Oh my. How terrible of me. You're right. Even the blue truth for the second game was way too naive. When the six were murdered in the chapel, the culprit was inside the chapel. That guy keeps trying to explain things using Trap X. What the heck is Trap X? Some weird mystery novel cliche? It's also laughable to say that, in the case where Nanjo and Kumasawa were killed in the servant room, someone else inherited Cannon's name. No one else can go by Cannon's name. A different person can't claim that as their name. Yeah, seriously, that was really fucking stupid of him. And that theory about borrowing the Master Key from Rosa for Natsuhi's room is also worthless. After the Master Keys came into Rosa's control, never did any of them leave her hands. Except for the time when she lent one to Battler to unlock Natsuhi's room. I can keep on going, but just taking a quick look at them turns out like this, get it?
Forget taking a quick look. You've just denied Battler's blue truth for the first and second games across the board. My, what a shame. If Battler heard, he'd faint.
Right? Bayata wasn't cornered at all. Looks like that kid's a pretty good actress after all. I'm sure she planned to make it look like she was getting cornered in this game. And then sometime next game, bang, she'll slice it up with a single red stroke to make Battler freak. And then I'm sure she'll say it again with a huge smile, which is never get into a pinch.
And that whole tragic atmosphere as how Bayato was getting cornered was all an act?
Isn't it obvious? She really is a great actress. Even though she wasn't cornered at all, it felt like an astonishing last episode climax. She's totally the winner for the Best Supporting Actress this year. Oh, but of course I'm the star, bull. You do fine too, Burn.
At the end, she said something like, kill me, and laid out a big riddle. Wasn't that her last stand? With Bayato to be finished for good if that riddle was solved?
Come on, were you seriously tricked too, Burn? That wasn't even close to a last stand. Bayato's still holding back a killer hidden move. When she stuck out both hands to give the final riddle, did you notice how she lowered just her right hand? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, now that you mention it, is that what that meant?
Sure is. That kid still had plenty of hidden moves left, and none of the mysteries have been solved. That tension, like she'd been exposed and the next episode would be the last. She truly is a genius at acting. Yeah, I want to see her knock Battler down to the very bottom right away. That kid's been totally encouraged by her North Wind and the Sun strategy from last time, right? I'm sure Battler will sympathize with Bayato again and fall for it completely. After all, a single tear from a woman can fool a man. Totally economical and profitable.
I wonder if Battler will get caught by the same move again. I've got to spur him on so he never feels sympathy again. Although, Angie's mincemeat seems to have done that pretty well.
A power-up from an Angie-flavored hamburger? Of course, I won't lose either. Starting here, I'll thoroughly support Bayato to rally her up enough to compete with Battler. Bayato won't lose. I mean, I'm threatening her with a wonderful punishment game if she loses. That's my shtick! What the fuck are you doing? Haha, get fucked.
Your punishment games are seriously not cool, so you should go a little easy on her.
I've decided what to do for your next punishment game, Burn. Wanna hear? Wanna hear?
No.
Come on, ask me. Guess what? Guess what? I'll lock you in a wonderful, wonderful castle. That castle will be surrounded by pure white castle walls, 12 kilometers to a side, with a height of 10 meters. Magic and tricks are prohibited. You really couldn't jump over that, right? Oh, God. What's that number? 1,440,000,000 cubic meters? You can stop there. I already know what you're going to say. And that place will start getting buried with gems. One every day. I'll lock you in it until the castle walls are packed with them, and you've been buried to death with gems. Isn't that a wonderful, romantic punishment game? If you multiply the length of the walls by 5 and make it 1/10 its current height, I wouldn't mind if you shut me in it right now. Really? That would make it 3,600,000,000 cubic meters, right? The time period for the punishment game would more than double, right? I get to keep you as my prisoner for such a long time? I really like you, Bern. I love you. LAMBDADELTA playfully approached BERNKASTEL, who yawned, looking bored as she touched the bottom of LAMBDADELTA's chin as though cuddling a cat. You're betting on Battler's victory, and I'm betting on an eternal tie for the two of them. Doesn't that mean no one's betting on Bayato's victory? I wouldn't. Her chances of winning are 0. Oh, how truly pitiful, being told by the Witch of Miracles that there's no chance of a miracle. Although, I wouldn't bet on her either, right? I can say that with certainty. It's also pretty sad when the Witch of Certainty says that you're certainly screwed. Unusually for them, they giggle together. I wonder how this game will resolve itself. Yeah, that's the one thing we can't predict. That's why it's fun. I won't permit escaping or suspensions any longer. I'll certainly make them continue their game, and I won't let them run away. Even though I can't even imagine what will happen next, I know it certainly won't end that way. At the very least, it won't end with Bayato's victory. I mean, think about it. Neither of us is betting on Bayato's victory. In other words, it looks like Bayato is gonna win. Wait, if it looks like Bayato is gonna win, she'll have us two great witches as enemies. Exactly. Our powers are most in equilibrium when bouncing between a tie and Battler's advantage. If it tips too much in Bayato's favor, both of us will line up along the same vector and drag Bayato back. In other words, the instant Bayato's in a superior position, she'll have to deal with both of us as enemies. A common front with Bern. Sounds fun. Thanks. But I'm not going into a compéto candy bath with you. And I was gonna cover you with melted marshmallows while taking a compéto shower. How pitiful. That child is a living toy, a doll you caught so that you could play with me, Lambda. I'm good at playing with dolls. I really can do it well, okay? I'm proud of being able to play with a single toy for hundreds of years without getting tired of it. You're her ally at some times, and oppose her at others, toying with her for all eternity. How pitiful. That kid is now our doll. That's right, that kid is our doll. No end has been prepared for that kid except the ones the two of us desire. In other words, I can say for sure that this can only end by repeating a tie for eternity because of me. Or else with Bayato losing and being destroyed because of you, Bern. As far as this game ending with Bayato's victory goes, I will proclaim it as the Witch of Miracles. Then I will proclaim it as the Witch of Certainty. Bayato certainly cannot win, and a miracle certainly will not occur. As they're both laughing. Finally, BERNKASTEL has a different face. What the fuck was that? So the two of them are just plotting against her, I guess. Umineko no Nakakoro ni Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning, and this is all the staff. Holy shit, that was an interesting last segment. And BERNKASTEL finally had a face that wasn't just regular or stare at the screen. That's interesting. So the two of them definitely don't want Beatrice to win. So if it goes too much in Battler's favor, are those two basically gonna fight each other? BERNKASTEL and LAMBDADELTA? Huh. Well, I guess we'd have to see that in, Answers arc, wouldn't we? I guess those are all their voice actors and actresses that I didn't listen to. Oh, I actually recognize Suzumura Kenichi, right? I definitely recognize that name. Have I already said that before? They probably showed us all these at the end of, whatever it's called, Holy shit, I'm a big stupid idiot. What was it? At the end of Chapter 3. Holy fuck. They sure did get a lot of people for this. Well, this was the PS3 version, released in only Japan, right? Because I don't think that was ever released in America. I don't recognize most of these names, but I definitely recognize Sumadera Kenichi. I'm pretty sure he's actually the Japanese voice actor for Demyx in Kingdom Hearts. So that's pretty cool. Demyx, and who was he in this? George? They actually got lots of really good voice actors and actresses for this, I guess. I mean, this entire time that I've been using the patch, people have been telling me that the voice actors and actresses are incredible for this, and I don't doubt that. I'm sure they're really good. I just wanted to read them with my own voices, and I'll probably do the same thing with Answers Arc. Like, maybe one episode I'll just try it out. Big doubt, but maybe. Never know. Oh, opening theme song. That's what it's called? Cool. The songs, something I really gotta say about this game, the music has no right to be as good as it actually is. Seriously, this is a visual novel, and this is stuff that I'd expect to hear in an action game. Like, seriously. Danganronpa as well. Danganronpa has ridiculously good music for a visual novel. But that was that wasn't an indie game. Was Umineko originally an indie game, like, definition-wise? Like, wasn't it just made by one person? Like, 7th expansion, isn't that just one person? Or am I an idiot? I don't know, someone will probably answer that. Damn. So that's the end of Questions Arc. This is probably episode 70, maybe 71 if I split these 2 hours into 3 episodes, which, doubt. That was crazy, though. And there it is again, Uncle Mion. New elements added. The Golden Witch has prepared a gift in commemoration of your recent sojourn. The new elements may be accessed from the title screen. Oh, achievement unlocked, the beginning. Interesting. Music box? The Golden Witch has granted you this music box. We hope you enjoy it as a souvenir of your stay here on Rokajima. The heck is this? Like, are these just, like... I see. They're all the different songs. The only one I recognize is, World End Dominator. I actually... Yeah, this was that. Okay. That's what I thought. Interesting. Very, very nice. So that's like a shuffle playlist. That's a very good song. So, tips. Does it have... Yes, it does have episode 4. So, if I remember correctly, someone told me that with the Chester sisters... Oh, there it was. I saw it. Yeah. Ah, all destroyed, even. Chester 556, a weapon of the Sisters' Cavalry, which serves Pendragon. 556 was quiet and often teased, but she was loved by everyone. However, her luck was always bad, and she met a tragic end in battle against the Black Witch. She was a cutting-edge weapon, unique in the Sisters' Cavalry, which tended to serve as honor guards. 556 was in charge of squad fire support. She shot not to kill, but to protect her allies. Can I resurrect her? Oh, I got an achievement for Trumpet Blues. Oh, that's cool. That's an oddly specific achievement. Chester 556, a quiet girl who's always teased by everybody. But that's because everyone loves her. The trumpet is her specialty. Everyone skips her lively tune. I see. Interesting. It's really weird how, even though Kasumi died... Yeah, it doesn't ever tell us that. Can I, like... No, I can't resurrect Eva there. But, yeah, and Battler was supposed to have died. Yeah, okay. Missing, went to hell embraced by the witch, but to the witch, that hell was the Golden Land. I see. Very, very interesting. Certainly there are some questions left, but that's because this is Questions Arc. Big surprise there. So, that's the end. Wow. So, I'm sure a lot of you are expecting me to, like, jump straight into Answers Arc, like how I've been jumping from Kingdom Hearts game to Kingdom Hearts game. However, I think I'm going to wait a little bit. Like, I'll probably wait until, like, maybe mid-February at the earliest, maybe? I don't know. It's just, I've been playing Umineko on my channel since July, and I've been doing it every day since the beginning of November, and my voice would probably prefer if I didn't go for another 80 days. I'm gonna have schedule changes too by the time the end of January flies around. The reason I've been jumping into Kingdom Hearts game after Kingdom Hearts game is so I can get all of the ones that are, at least on PS4, done before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, and I've been a fan of Kingdom Hearts most of my life, so it kind of holds a higher priority to me. I will definitely do Answers Arc. You don't need to worry about that. And when I get to it, I'll do it without voices as well, because that's just what I've grown used to with this. So, final thoughts on Questions Arc. Fucking incredible. The music, great. The characters, great. There are tons of characters. So, it was difficult to give different voices to everyone, but I think I made do, even though some voices were very similar. Like, BERNKASTEL didn't really have a very specific voice, and I don't feel like I did her justice. And, like, Beatrice and Eva had essentially the same voice. The Stakes of Purgatory were also very difficult. The only ones that I really had specific voices for were, I think, Satan, Belphegor, and maybe Asmodeus. I don't know. And some of the other characters were difficult, too. Like, I had so many characters with deep voices, like Goda, Rudolph, and Kinzo had voices that I feel like were too similar. But, hey, maybe by the time I start Answers Arc, my voice repertoire will be a little bit better. Just taking a short break from Umineko, so, yeah, I will do Answers Arc as soon as I can. I already said that. I'm an idiot. Okay. As far as, like, what I think actually is happening in the game, I don't know where it's gonna go from this, because this kind of feels like a pretty good ending with there's definitely a cliffhanger with LAMBDADELTA and BERNKASTEL at the very end. But, yeah, I'm still super suspicious of George. Obviously, he does have a few alibis that kind of put a lot of my theories in the water, like with the first game. And maybe even the second, I don't know. And also with how Beatrice said no one faked their deaths in the first game. That makes Eva and Hideyoshi a little more difficult, as well as especially the parlor. The parlor is probably the biggest issue right now. If no one faked their deaths, then the only people who could have committed murder in the parlor are the people in the parlor. However, it was said in red Maria didn't, and LAMBDADELTA said that it wasn't Genji, Nanjo, or Kumasawa, but everyone else was in the parlor, so unless one of the deaths hadn't happened yet. Like, maybe Canon completely faked his death and Nanjo was an accomplice for that. So, yeah, that's crazy. If Canon could have faked his death, because Beatrice did say everyone alive and dead, has an alibi for Canon's death, and Canon didn't commit suicide, therefore he faked his death, right? So many questions, and so few answers, but that's what you get when it's Questions Arc. So, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, well, not episode, but series, rather. That's gonna be it for this series, guys. This is definitely the longest series on my channel, and when I get to Answers Arc, I'm sure that'll even surpass this, so yeah. If you like this series, be sure to press the like button. Stick around, eventually I'll get to Answers Arc. I have other series with Kingdom Hearts going on, and World of Light is probably coming to an end real soon also. So I might start another game to go alongside Birth by Sleep, which is definitely not going to be done before this, because well, I already know this is probably going to go up on Monday. So happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve, guys. It's very nice that Christmas has come. But yeah, if you like the series, be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, fuck you too. Remember to subscribe so that when I eventually do Answers Arc, you don't miss the first episode. And with all that being said, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next series. Goodbye!